and welcome to another exciting edition of Explore Richland. I'm your host, Mark Ingham. Well, today I am charged up because we have an absolutely electric show for you today. We are at the Richland Public Library to preview an exciting Earth Month event that's talking all about electric vehicles. Now, to talk about that, we are excited to welcome Garrett Brown to the program. Garrett is the president of the Mid-Columbia Electric Vehicle Association and the lead presenter at the Earth Month EV discussion and display. Garrett, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, Garrett, this is truly a fascinating topic, and a topic I'm sure many Richland residents have questions and even thoughts about. You know, and I've read that 2018 is set to be the year that the world fully embraces the electric car. What information are you guys going to present at this event?
Well, Mark, that's a great question. We have electric vehicles of all different models and brands. I'm hoping that we'll have at least 10 different vehicles. We'll have a Nissan Leaf, we'll have a Tesla. In the past, we've had Tesla Roadsters, Model X and Model S. This year, we have somebody in the Tri-Cities who owns a Chevy Bolt, which is the 238-mile electric vehicle recently released by Chevy. Okay. So we should have that one there as well. We've had VW e-Golfs. We even had a Think EV, which is a plastic EV that is no longer made. I don't think we'll have that one this year, but there'll be a wide variety. There'll be a plug-in Prius, which is a new model that's recently out. We have electric vehicles that range from 15 miles of electric range before switching to a gas engine, all the way up to the Tesla, which gets somewhere around 300 to 350 miles of electric range before needing to be recharged.
Wow, it's an exciting lineup of cars that are going to be at this event. And I'm curious, is there a presentation going to be given, or is it kind of like just to come, look at the cars, and ask questions?
Yes, both.
Cool, all of the above?
What we find is that people want to be in front of the cars. They want to talk to the owners. They want to learn about what is the real experience. We're not car salesmen. We're just people excited about electric vehicles. And so there will be that where we stand in front of the cars, and that will probably be most of the afternoons. We're going to start around 1 o'clock at the library on Sunday, April 8th, and we go until they'll let it kick us out, which is about 4:30. The presentation will be somewhere around an hour, depending on questions. In that, I will have slides about the different vehicles. I'll have slides about how to charge the vehicles. I'll have slides about the common questions people ask, which is, how long does it take to charge? How far can I drive? You know, all of these things. Plus, this year, because we're doing this for Earth Month, I've spent a little bit of extra time asking the question, are electric vehicles really green? Are they better than gas vehicles? And the answer is absolutely. In the Tri-Cities, our electricity is almost 100% hydro. So there are no emissions from driving an electric vehicle in Tri-Cities and Washington State. That's not true everywhere in the United States, but here it is. And so I'll talk about that.
Electric vehicles have long been vaunted as the vehicle of the future. But you know, maybe some early prototypes, maybe early models we've seen people roll out of their garages have kind of looked maybe not very practical. But that has certainly changed in the 2000s. You know, EVs, you know, like the one in front of us, have really come of age. What model is this car, and what can you tell us about it?
So this is the Tesla Model S, and it's a sedan. It seats 5 people. This particular model is the low-end model, if you will. It drives approximately 230 miles on a charge.
And at the EV discussion that we're putting on April 8th here at the Richland Public Library, people will actually have the opportunity to get in a car and take a test ride with the owners. And I think I'm going to take you up on that offer today and really experience what this vehicle has to offer. Now, Garrett, the first thing I notice is that this vehicle has all the bells and whistles of your typical luxury car. You know, share with us the features this car has, and maybe you could just compare it to a gas-powered vehicle.
Yeah, this particular vehicle is the Tesla Model S. It's a sedan. It holds 5 people. It drives about 230 miles on electric charge. And it's basically a brand new vehicle, luxury vehicle, has leather, heated seats, heated steering wheel, you have GPS navigation.
And I mean, the first thing I noticed, obviously, didn't even know the car was running. It's just how quiet the engine is. And I wanted to ask you, as true with anything, you can pretty much spend as much money as you want to when you're purchasing something. Well, that said, how affordable are electric vehicles? And maybe explain to me why I often hear that an electric vehicle will always be cheaper than a gas-powered car by total cost of ownership.
Yeah, that was not always the case. Electric vehicles are new technology still. Just like computers in the early days were a little bit more expensive than they are today and less powerful, electric cars are improving with every iteration. And so today an electric vehicle, and there are several of them, have the lowest total cost of ownership.
Okay.
As an example, I have a pickup truck, or had a pickup truck, and I spent more on gasoline than I spent on the car itself. And that's just gasoline, not the oil, not the the maintenance, not the insurance. So the total cost of ownership is the more important value.
Not having to change the oil in your car, I can't even imagine that. But in talking with you, I'm starting to realize that electric vehicles just make a lot of sense. But why are they so limited, so hard to buy? And maybe what factors are driving the rise of electric vehicles?
Well, there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world. There are manufacturers who have where the CEO has actually said, do not buy our electric car. And then you have manufacturers who are producing only electric vehicles, and of course, obviously, they want you to buy theirs. Then you have things in between. You have big manufacturers who are being forced by California to produce zero-emission vehicles, and they don't want it. And so they produce what's called a compliance car. It's not available for sale in the Tri-Cities.
Oh, wow.
And then you have a few vehicle manufacturers, and I will name these, who you can actually buy an electric vehicle in the Tri-Cities. So that Nissan produces the Nissan Leaf, GM produces the Chevy Volt and the Chevy Bolt. We also have the BMW dealer down here, has the BMW i3.
Okay.
And then there are almost 30 different electrified products, and they range from the Toyota Prius Prime with a 15 to 25 mile range of electric, all the way up to the Tesla Model S. If you want a Tesla, you actually have to buy it off the internet, and it will be delivered to your door, or you can pick it up in Seattle.
And Garrett, I'm curious what a long trip in an electric vehicle looks like. Let's say we want to drive to Seattle, or maybe even farther than that. I assume we need to plan out our trip kind of based on where the charging stations are at. So what does that look like? Long-range trips in an electric vehicle are a little different compared to gas vehicles. And so you really do need to plan. There are not as many charging stations as there are gas stations. That said, the Washington Electric Highway is a very, Washington and Oregon have generated an electric highway system that is very well covered in western Washington and Oregon. We are working on eastern Washington and Oregon. Yeah.
So to get out of the Tri-Cities, the next fast charging station is in Arlington, Oregon, which is about 85 miles from where we are right now. And that's a bit of a stretch for the 75-mile range electric Nissan Leaf. I have done it. And I drove my Leaf down the Oregon coast. There are charging stations every 50 miles once you get to Arlington, and it's very easy. The next charging station next to the Tri-Cities is at the Wenatchee Convention Center, and that one's 120 miles, so that's outside the range of the short range EVs. Well, Garrett, thanks so much for coming on the program and talking to us about the electric vehicle discussion and display, which is scheduled for Sunday, April 8th at the Richland Public Library from 1 to 4 p.m. And of course, if you would like more information on projects and programs happening here in the city of Richland, feel free to visit us at our webpage at the link below.
And remember, if you're not following the City of Richland on our social media platforms, we strongly encourage you to do so. Log on and give us a like on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're always sharing tons of great information on our social media platforms. I'm Mark Ingham. Thanks for joining me on this edition of Explore Richland. Now, Garrett, go ahead and hit that insane button.